Hey, thanks for coming back and Happy New Year. That's a great thing. We made it out of 2025. That was debatable for a while, but here we are. So today what we're going to do is we're going to dive into a little color theory. This is what I do with all the color tins that I get. This is a core QOR tin, purples and a green and some blues. It's pretty. It's only 6 colors, and you're going to learn what I do every time I get a tin. It is something that has helped me drastically to not just learn how to paint, but learn what each tin can do and how these 6 colors can create so many other colors to use for future projects anytime. And it gives you a guide to look back on. So without further ado, again, Happy New Year. I'd love it if you subscribe. For now, though, let's dive in and see what I do every time I get a tin. If you're a beginner, I recommend you do it too. If you've been painting for a while, maybe you even want to go back into it with all your tins, because that's what I did. So anyways, let's dive in. Okay, so we are back, and today we are diving into a new tin of colors that I have and what I do to process that new tin, because I want to know what each color is, from the varying depths to the transparencies, the gradients, and everything. So every time I get a new tin of paint, this is what I do, is I create a simple color palette first with the colors that are in it. I run the transparencies, and then I just run a gradient across the bottom and mix the colors and blend and blah, blah, blah. The next thing I'm going to do is I want to know what each color does when it's mixed with the other color in that tin. So I'm going to create a grid, and I'm going to run across the X and Y axis. I'm going to run the same colors across the top and the same colors down the left-hand side. And then I'm going to mix each color at the top with a corresponding color running down the left-hand side to get a full idea, a full picture of what this tin of colors is going to do for me. And I have done this with tins that I have had that I never actually did this color experiment with, this color theory with. And it has helped me so much, because now I have all of these on the wall in front of me when I'm painting. And when I need a color, or if I'm thinking like, hey, I need a certain gray or a certain green, I can just look up and I know which tin it came from, which colors made that color that I need, and I can just go back to it. I don't have to fumble around, and I don't have to try to figure out like how I did this or how I did that. From there, I'll usually do another experiment, another little playtime. And these pieces are cool just to do and create some abstract stuff, but I'll pick one color. And then I'll either run transparencies and overlays, or I'll see what happens when they're mixed with other colors from other palette, whatever. In this situation, what I did was I started out with the green, which is the odd color out in this palette. I, as you see, made one circle, solid color, no gradient, just sort of blanketed a light, let's say a 2, let's say it's like a coffee level of opaqueness, of transparency. And I made the circle oblong. I made whatever shape this is. It's really not a circle anymore. And then within that, once it's dry, I'm going to create 3 circles. And I'm going to come in with another layer of paint. So what we're doing is we're just working on this one color and what happens when you layer it on top of itself. For instance, with this green, we may want to use this on a plant and a leaf and the foliage of a tree or whatnot. And I want to know, like, when I go over that first leaf a second time or a third time or a fourth time, how dark is it going to get? How is the paint going to react to itself? So with this exercise, what we do again is we create one circle. You have to let it dry. That is in between each layer. You have to let it dry 100%. And then create 3 circles, come in and color what is outside of those 3 circles you created, right? Or different shapes. I don't care what shapes you do. Just have some fun with it and work your layers over top. One on the other, again, making sure each layer is dry. And then we're going to do the exact same thing one more time. We're going to create new circles. Now, don't do this. Don't do what I just did there. Don't put that outline there. I attempt to fix this in a second. I'm not as worried because, again, I'm just playing. This is for nothing other than just learning what the paint is going to do when I overlay it on top of itself. But again, make sure that bottom layer is dry. Come in and make some more circles. Make 3 or 4 more circles, maybe 5. You choose. It depends how big of a piece you're doing right here. And then again, go in, Everything that is not a circle that you just made or have already created, fill in. Do a whole second layer of the same depth of paint, the same level, so that same consistency. We were at like a 2, which is like a coffee. Do that across the whole thing. Let it dry. I used a blow dryer between each one of these layers, and then let's do it again. So we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to do this 4 or 5 times in total. You can do it as many times as you want, as many times as you have space for. It creates a really cool effect. And because we're starting on the light, like those 3 brightest circles, that was our first layer. It's letting you see each layer that you have created on top of the other without having to get rid of anything. So again, it's like a great reference to be able to say, okay, this was 4 layers, or this was 5 layers of paint here. But over here, it was only 3 layers of paint. So if you're looking for a certain tone, you can easily pull it out with experiments like this, with colors like this. And I know that there are other ways to do this. There's other fancier methods. I could use fancier terms. I don't really care to. I don't even know them all. I just like to paint, and I'm just trying to create a system to help others learn what their paint can do. So grab your tin, run some experiments, and let's see what we can do together. The next project coming is going to be more transparencies and overlays. For now, though, this was what I had. So again, grab that tin, set yourself up some grids, see what happens when you mix all the colors, and let's just keep having fun with this. For now, take care. Hey, thanks for watching. In the next couple videos, what we're going to talk about is brush control, line work, precision, preciseness, all the things, pressure on the brushes, all the things. And we're going to do it in a way, though, that will create abstract pieces which look really beautiful. And actually, you might even want to frame some. For now, I got to go. Hit the subscribe button so you can see those videos when they come out. And I hope you guys have a great, wonderful beginning of 2026. Till next time.